magical. And do the same thing with an object down below that's on the ground, where it's almost like it's close to you and you can see the top of it. The way I like to do that is actually a little different because it makes it easier within the space, because this is all starting to get a little crowded. So what I like to do then is take from one of your vanishing points, let's take alpha here. I'm going to make this sideline, all right? I'm then going to go over to gamma and make the corner. So now it's like I've got this top portion of my object, it's just in reverse. I'll then go back to alpha, make a line, come over to gamma to make the top. So here, it's like I have this flat piece. It looks like it's laying on the ground, but I want to give it, you know, a little bit of height as well. So what I can do, and then go up to beta, and I make all three sides lining up with that beta vanishing point. So there are the sides of the object coming down. That'd be like the initial step where we pulled all three lines down from the top, but I created the top surface we see and then did those. Put on the sides, go back to alpha, and over here to gamma. Now, something that's really interesting about 3-point and 1-point and 2-point really is when you're doing 1-point perspective, all of your lines converge on one vanishing point. So you end up having true vertical lines and true horizontal lines. And those are lines that are going to line up vertically and horizontally with the sides of your paper. In 2-point, you end up losing true horizontal lines, and you only have true vertical lines, which is how we start every box we make, by just making a vertical line and connecting to our vanishing points. In 3-point, we don't have any true verticals or horizontal. All of our lines are converging, which means they all radiate out from a point. So what you really need to know when doing 3-point is that since all of your lines are converging on a vanishing point, the only place you're going to have a truly horizontal or vertical line is directly below your beta point and directly on your horizon line. Every other line has to converge on a point. And as long as you remember that, you're going to be okay. Just like right down here, hey, maybe I want to make another one. Okay. If I was doing 2-point, I'd start with a vertical line, but I'm not. I'm doing 3-point, so I got to start with my beta point. Always lined up to beta. So there's my 3 lines lined up to beta. Okay, now it's easy. Cap them off. Alpha. Alpha over here. Looks like this thing's going to be coming right out of the side of this other object. Boom. And boom. And there we have it. And we just erase where it overlaps this other object. So now it almost looks like this thing has this pedestal coming out of it. Now, we can get to the point of where we have these kind of invisible horizons on either side. Because on these points, just like when a horizon line, if you're above the horizon line, you see the bottom. If you're below the horizon line, you see the top. Over here, you almost have to shift how you're thinking and start thinking of this dotted line as your horizon. And if I want to make an object out here, I like to rotate my paper so that this is my horizon. Now all of a sudden, alpha is the point I start with for my radiating lines. And you could do it this way, or you could rotate it this way so it looks like they're coming down. Because we started with something high up, we'll do it this way. So if I start with alpha here, and this is my new horizon here, right? So disregard the shape of the paper, just think this is your horizon line. Come here with alpha, I'm gonna make a line, another line, and another line, right? Now for these lines, I'm gonna pick my points again, and I'm going to use gamma and beta to create the sides of this object. Got to get on the straight edge of my ruler there, not the janky edge I cut. that a little longer. Erase any excess. Now this object still isn't done, because just like when you're creating the top of an object, or you can see the underside, here I can see this side. This is the bottom, this is the front. I need to put this side in. So what I have to do is actually crisscross to my other vanishing points again from the opposite corners, and this will create the side of my object. So what you really got to think about is when you cross out into these areas beyond these dotted lines, things reverse. If I go back to my paper being the way I had it initially, on the inside of the dotted line, I'm seeing the right side of this object with my view. Once we cross outside the dotted line, I'm seeing the left side. The same is conversely true over here. If I wanted to make that my horizon, adjust my paper, come over here, make my 3 lines. Use my vanishing points on either side from that front line there. I'm gonna actually go from that inner corner to save myself some time. Stem that, erase any little extra bits. And then I gotta go to my opposite points there. And there we have it. So already in this short amount of time, and you know, I've been doing this for a long time and teaching for a long time, so I make it look quick and easy. It can be confusing at first, but I've already created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 forms. And you know, that's before we even think about windows, doors, other things we can do in 3-point, which will be coming up in later videos. So for now, if you're one of my students, start practicing this. If you're somebody who's just watching, have fun practicing it. Take your time. It's not an assignment for you. You're allowed to mess up. So really, just go for it. And just remember, all of your lines converge. Meaning if you put your ruler, makeshift or actual, anywhere on this, every line should somehow line up with a vanishing point. So no matter where you go, it should do that. All the lines should radiate from one of our 3 points, alpha, beta, or gamma. All right, so next time, hey, we'll do windows and doors in 3-point.